So Steve Kellum out of Grant County actually never got punished. His jailers got punished. The people that he had hired got punished. He lost his job. He wasn't reelected back into office, but he actually didn't. He didn't get punished. He never was held to account. His employees eventually they go to prison, right, for many years, and so justice was happened for that 18-year-old that got gang raped in Steve Kellum's jail because of his jailers had put them, with some rapists and said, "Hey, have fun." And so that's a lot of times. A lot of times the main head honcho doesn't get hit up at Abu Ghraib. People are like, where the fuck did that happen? And how come that happened like that? And why did it happen like that? Because of it happened like that because that's what the culture of America is. They've been practicing in our local jails how to be sadistic fucking psychopaths to do whatever they want to the prisoners, sexual assault, let them get raped, just do whatever psychopathic shit they can do, and that's what they do. So that had happened in Grant County Jail. They got punished, and the boy got $1.4 million, which he deserved every penny of. It's also kind of crazy. He gets $1.4 million for the incident, but a lot of these murders, they'll get like $400,000, $300,000. That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. A life is worth less than getting raped. So, a lot of Trayvon Martin shootings have happened after Trayvon Martin. Well, actually, before I want to get into the other Trayvon Martin shootings, the Mr. Redis, the 23-year-old valedictorian who got murdered in Texas by the campus police officer. The campus police officer, sitting there saying that he was, driving erratically, like drunk, and he's driving up on the curb, he's driving on oncoming traffic, he's aggressive, he's trying to fight the cop, and the cop had to defend himself, and he murdered him. That's what the cop is saying. So the cop is just lying through his fucking teeth. He's a piece of shit. He was probably following them and saw some minor thing, was fucking harassing them and shit. And then while, just sitting in the car, what, you're going to shoot me? Pow, 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 pow. Yes, I just shot you. And that's the thing with the police officers. Police officers don't give a shit about the law because we have freedom of speech. He's allowed to say, what, are you going to shoot me? You're allowed to say fuck you to a cop. You're allowed to say fuck you bitch, right? You're allowed to say any fucking thing you want because we're Americans. If that's actually a law. But who's enforcing that law? Not the police. The police murder a motherfucker for, telling them the homeless guy called the police officer a bitch and then got murdered for that. The guy who got shot said to the police officer, shut up, he got fucking hit over the head with a baton. Now this guy, Mr. Redis, at the University of the Devil Incarnate in northern Texas, he was murdered, in cold blood by a campus police officer, and the guy said, "What? You're not gonna shoot me, are you?" And he did. He fucking murdered him. And all of his friends says that this guy was a compassionate, the sweetest, gentlest person you'd ever meet, and that's so the cop story goes against the man's personality, and it's typical. You have the killers are the ones who get to write history, and they get to write about the victim. That's what happens. The killers are the ones that get to write and say what had happened. We know Zimmerman's story. We know the 911 call. We see that Zimmerman's going after the guy, but we don't, actually know what shit had gone down. But frankly, you're coming after, another motherfucker. Even if Trayvon Martin tried to beat the shit out of Zimmerman, I feel like he would have been in the right to do that. Like, who the fuck are you? You're following me. You're stalking at me. You're sitting there staring at me. And you act like, oh, and now he's looking at me. Now he's looking at me. How dare this motherfucker give me eye contact? Don't he fucking know that I am, the self-elected police officer of this fucking area? Now he's looking at me. So you can't make eye contact with the police. You can't tell them anything. You can't say shut up. In fact, you don't even have a right to silence. There is a recent court case that just came out, Salinas versus Texas, and it's the right to remain silent. And according to the Supreme Court, you can choose to be silent, but that's to your disadvantage, possibly, by sometimes. So we're getting, our Bill of Rights are being shredded all over the place, and we have. That wasn't the only Trayvon Martin thing that had happened. You had several Trayvon Martins. You have a black woman who's shot in the back of the head. This is Renisha McBride. So she's from a black area, and she was in a white area, right? So in Dearborn Heights, 82% of Dearborn Heights is white. And I saw an interview. It was like, well, it's a good neighborhood. I can't believe this happened. Yeah, okay, fuck you. So it's not. surprising that a police officer would murder a motherfucker, a black person. And actually, this isn't a police officer. This is a guy, just a guy that just shoots her. So Renisha McBride, she knocks at 4 a.m. on this guy's door. She had wrecked her car and she was looking for help. This is Detroit, Michigan. So she's 19 years old, Renisha McBride. She wrecks her car 4 in the morning, and she knocks on the door, and the white man opens the door and just starts shooting, just starts blazing away. He didn't know what she was, didn't listen to what she had to say, and didn't give a shit. So this was very similar to what had happened with Jonathan Farrell. Jonathan Farrell, he is a Florida A&M University football player. So Florida A&M University football player, he gets into a car wreck, knocks on the door, white woman answers, gets scared, talks about, oh my God, you know, I don't know what's going on, it's a big black man and I'm a little white woman and I'm so scared, I have children in my house. He doesn't try to break in, he doesn't push the door in when she answers the door. She's just terrified. 4 in the morning, there's a black person on her doorstep. She calls the police get there and immediately just murder the guy. So that's, you know, the police murdered them, they just straight up murdered them. But I'm talking about McBride first, and we'll get into Jonathan Farrell's story here soon. In the very beginning, the Dearborn Heights police told McBride's family that her body was found dumped near Warren Avenue and Outer Drive. So she gets shot in the back of the head, and they dump her body off to the side, so they didn't even know what had happened to her. Eventually, I guess the story changed, and they won't release this guy's name. And you know, the aunt is like, he shot her in the head for what? Knocking on the door? You feel frightened, you feel scared. Why would you do that, you know? They shot her in the head for knocking on his door. Says Spink said the family met with officials from the prosecutor's office on Tuesday. He believes her niece was racially profiled. You see a young black lady on your porch and you just shoot? Oh my God, black woman. Bam, bam, bam. That's what you do? And the aunt says he killed my niece and he needs to pay for it. And she's right. This motherfucker should pay for it. So Detroit, Michigan, they said something about stand your ground. There's a racial element to it, right? The man's white and she's black. She comes from a predominantly black area and he lives in a predominantly white area. So Maria Miller, I'm trying to find the guy's name because I don't know what the guy's name is. It says that McBride was disoriented and scared after her 2001 Ford Taurus was struck by another car. So she got into a wreck 4 blocks from where she was at, and they hit her, you know, so they wrecked into her. And then she went walking, you know, around trying to find some help. And so we have, let's see, we're going to find out who killed Renisha McBride right now. In the meantime, while I'm Google searching this, you have Jonathan A. Farrell, right? Jonathan A. Farrell is a Florida A&M University football player. Basically, the exact same thing happens. Only instead of a white supremacist piece of shit fucking homeowner killing him, it's actually a police officer. So, you know, it's an actual person that has a badge and has a gun and shit. And it was he was murdered by Officer Randall Carrick. And Carrick was a rookie. He was only on the force for 1 to 2 years. So a fucking rookie cop just, you know, cold-blooded murders motherfucker. And he was, you know, he was charged. He was charged. And so is this Renisha McBride. He was charged too, the murder of Renisha McBride. Now this guy, he looks like, I mean, he looks sort of Turkish or Arabic. He's got like a Greek sort of brown tint and blue eyes. And mustache slightly balding. Theodore Wafer. That's who fucking murdered her. Theodore Wafer. Right? And just like Zimmerman, you know, he's like looking all pitiful, like, why are they picking on me? Well, they're picking on you because you're a murderer. You fucking murdered a motherfucker, you know, a woman for no apparent reason. Black woman knocked on your door and you shot her. She didn't say, you know, fucking answer the door, or she didn't break in through your window. She knocked on your front door. If I'm a robber, if I'm trying to do something to you, I'm not going to, you know, I guess maybe that's a good cover. You know, you wouldn't expect a motherfucker who's going to be robbing you to knock on your front door. And it is a possibility. It is a possibility, right? But it seems like it'd be bad strategy. You don't want the person inside to know that's, you know, what's happening. They can see you. They can recognize you. They can identify you. They can fight you. They can kill you. You know, so it seems like a would-be robber wouldn't do something like that. It's also she's also a woman too. You know, so a man and a woman, like, is he? I don't know. I'm a pretty skinny guy, but I don't feel like I feel like most women I probably could take. So I mean, he's afraid that she didn't brandish a gun, she didn't brandish anything, and so he's like so scared that he just pulls out a pistol and shoots her in the back of the head. So she's not even pursuing him; she's walking away. So there's no dispute. Theodore Wafer, that fucking piece of shit, he killed Renisha McBride. And don't, 4 more minutes. I got 4 more minutes to talk. I fucked up last one. God, and I had so many great connections. I was talking about the homeless guy, Kelly Thomas, how they just said, let me see your name. One thing led to the next, and then he's dead. I was talking about that one guy who just said, shut up to the police, and then he's dead. And here, there was Trayvon Martin got killed by Zimmerman, and Zimmerman in 911 call, and he's like, and now he's looking at me. He's sitting there staring at dude. Describing everything that's happened. He's walking, he's wearing this, he's got this, I don't know what's going on. And now he's looking at me. That motherfucker. Like, what? Making eye contact a crime? It's not a crime. But you're such fucking hotheads, you think everybody's supposed to fucking bow down to your dumb, sadistic, fucking psychotic ass, that eye contact pisses you off. So there's no dispute that Theodore Wafer shot Renisha McBride, 19 years old, through the screen of his front door in the early hours of November 2nd. So November 2nd, that's when this shit happened. November 2nd of this year, 2013. So just a month ago. And attorney said 54-year-old Theodore Wafer was feared for his life. Oh my God! Black woman on a porch. I'm scared I'm gonna die. This is ridiculous. It's laughable. It's stupid. So But Dearborn Heights Judge David Turf said there are other ways to protect himself, including a phone call for help. The court recognizes you can't automatically penalize someone for making a bad decision when pressed to react quickly, but at the same time, we can't allow one to use a bad decision as a shield to criminal prosecution. The defendant made a bad choice when there are other reasonable opportunities. The court ruled in Michigan to order someone to trial is not as high as beyond reasonable doubt. It's common, traditional threshold to win a criminal conviction. Prosecutors only have to show a portion of the evidence at this stage. Indeed, Wafer apparently made a 1-hour recorded statement to police, but it was not introduced, despite efforts by his lawyers. Defense attorney Cheryl Carpenter said Wafer didn't intend to kill McBride, only to protect himself. She referred to Michigan's 2006 self-defense law. Someone's breaking into the home, there's a presumption that a homeowner can use deadly force. If they're breaking into the home, she went into the window, she wasn't breaking into the window, she didn't push open the door, she's walking away from them. She got shot in the back of the head. So you don't know how many people are out there. There's violent banging on the front door, and we got a man who's home alone. Wayne County prosecutor says it's ridiculous to believe that Wafer was deeply afraid, yet decided to open the door and fire instead of first calling the police. Civil rights groups suggested race may have played a role in the shooting. They have not pointed out the race, saying Wafer is white-ish, McBride is black-ish, right? She's actually brown. He's actually like olive skin, sort of Greek. Wafer called 911 around 4:30 a.m. So it's early in the morning. It could be startling, sure, if you just woke up, but not to murder somebody, right? They said that that McBride had been smoking marijuana, so that's probably enough. That's the war on drugs. So for some fucking overzealous oppressor, molester, cop sucker, right? So you have all these cop suckers who think that cops do good things no matter what, and all they need is just 1 or 2 pieces of information. And this isn't even a cop, right? This isn't even a police officer. This is just a citizen murdering someone else. So not in the capacity as a public official, but in the capacity as just a private citizen. They said she was drunk. About .22 was a blood alcohol level. She got into a wreck. They hit her car, 2001 Ford Taurus. And again, the winners get to fucking say what happens. We don't have any idea what she would say, about the thing. We have no idea. She's dead, so we have no idea. We only have their testimony. They said they've been drinking vodka, playing cards. The spectators, mostly McBride's family and friends, left the courtroom immediately after the judge's decision. Wafer, an airport maintenance worker, lingered and appeared dazed as he stood and looked out the courtroom window. He thanked his attorneys and left through a back door. He told reporters the ruling was a disappointment. We look forward to trial where you can get all the evidence. Before hearing final evidence, the judge rejected Carpenter's request to play Wafer's recorded statement to police. It was not introduced. Hageman Clarkside, Michigan court rule successfully argued that the defense could play the video only if Wafer would agree to testify and open himself up to cross-examination. The videotape statement is not subject to cross-examination. So only if Wafer testifies can this video, this 911 call that he sends in after he murders the lady, comes in. And actually, why are these motherfuckers saying they found the body, you know, dumped in the ditch? This whole fucking story stinks. It smells bad. They're going to try to get on the same page, having talking points and shit, so they're all saying the same shit. But this motherfucker murdered in cold blood, and he should be behind jail.